morning. It is Friday, September 27th. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett here on News 6 Plus, clickorlando.com, and YouTube. We are hoping that everyone is safe this morning and that you didn't have any major damage around you and no one is hurt or anything. But we made it through the storm. Of course, it is now a tropical storm really headed over the Georgia area right now, dumping lots of rain. We're recapping all of the damage and what happened here in Florida. Helene got up to a Category 4 when it made landfall late last night. And so we'll recap that. We'll check in with our meteorologist. We'll check on your traffic. And we also have a live interview coming up this morning to talk about Boys Town, which has been saving lives and helping families heal since 1917. And if you didn't know, they have a campus in Oviedo where they help young girls and boys, get back on their feet when they've had, issues at home. And so we'll look at the work they're doing to help in suicide prevention. They are actually behind that National Suicide Prevention Hotline that we always give out, the 1-800-448-3000. So we'll talk about that work and also a documentary coming up about their founder, Father Flanagan. And some events that they have coming up as well for the holidays. Looking forward to that interview with Boys Town in a little bit. But first, getting over to the Pinpoint Weather Center with a big story. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos here. We made it through Helene and a Category 4 at that. Wow.
I mean, and it's just been one of those periods for the last few years where it just feels like it's just been such a Gulf Coast focused season, every season
I feel
it
for them.
seems like it. Yeah. I mean, within the last 13 months, meteorologist Michelle Morgan kind of highlighted that this morning on our newscast, that within the last 13 months, in a span about 25 miles wide, they've seen 3 hurricanes. They had Adalia last year, they had Debbie earlier this year, and now they've had Helene. Now, of course, the exact landfall locations have changed a little bit, but at the end of the day, it still feels like it's been this bullseye. So, your heart goes out to so many of those residents out there that for the longest time didn't see anything. I can't remember whose story was showing the sound from somebody who lived there for so long. And they said, we always thought for the longest time that the waters were too shallow and it was too shallow for storms strong storms like Category 3 and 4s to come on shore. But that was just not their time. And unfortunately, with some years, some trends have more of an East Coast, focus, while others have more of a West Coast. And that's certainly been the case for quite some time. So with that being said, Hurricane Helene made landfall yesterday around 11:10 in the morning as a Category 5 hurricane. And I was doing the math. It officially became a named storm Monday at 11 a.m. with sustained winds of 45 miles per hour. It was a tropical storm. So between Monday afternoon till Thursday evening, it ramped up 100 degrees in, 2 evenings, really. And so at the end of the day, is certainly a system that we saw rapidly intensify. It went through this rapid intensification, the pressure dropped, the winds picked up, the storm surge came in, and unfortunately we had a landfall. Now, kudos to the National Hurricane Center because that forecast cone was pretty much on that same zone from pretty much the very beginning, even before it became a name. And just throughout the time, the forecast cone just started to narrow and narrowed it so closely to exactly where that landfall was. So, the hurricane hunters were out there. At one point, we had hurricane hunters in the system, another hurricane hunter on his way out, and another hurricane hunter on the way in. So we almost had three aircrafts somewhere on the mission to Helene, which was just incredible. They also had unmanned or uncrewed drones out there, the Altius. That's been something that we've been talking about for years now, especially with our hurricane coverage and our hurricane specials about how the National Hurricane Center and forecasters are using so many different tools. Some of them are just, driven from people in the plains or people driven off the coastline, which is just crazy to see. But anyway, all right, I'm off my tropical soapbox. Let's talk about what Helene is doing right now. Unfortunately, we are starting to get a lot of those pictures coming in from as far north as Atlanta, parts of the Carolinas that are dealing with flooding rain. We have water rescues right now, even though it's a tropical storm. it doesn't matter. This still certainly can pack quite a punch. So for the next couple of days, we're talking breezy and hot conditions. Sometimes towards the end of September, we do tend to get those tropical systems that bring in fall. That's not the case with this one. We're still going to continue to keep the moisture in place and actually heat us up even further, as feels like temperatures today will be in those triple digits. That will be the story as we head into your weekend. Very typical for the end of September. And again, we are watching still Helene. We're also tracking Isaac, by the way. That became a hurricane yesterday. While we were all focused on Helene, we noticed Isaac had developed out there. We're like, we don't have time to talk about that right now. It's not a concern for us at all. And then we're also watching two other areas in the tropics. Tis the season, right? Towards the end of the year. This is something that meteorologist Jonathan Kegas on WeatherWise has also been really talking about, because it looks like it's almost becoming kind of a shift in the peak of hurricane season this season, where we actually are getting that peak almost about 3 weeks late. Let's look at the tropical outlook again. Isaac there on the top side of your screen. We got Helene there over the southeast. We have one zone in the Caribbean with a low chance for development, and then another one looking very impressive right now on the satellite imagery that has a pretty much guaranteed chance of becoming our next named storm. By the way, the next name on the list is the letter J, and this year it is Joyce. So there you go. Clouds and rain forecast still showing a couple more lingering showers this morning. Most of it should taper off. We will have some of that drier air come in. Not enough dry air to make it actually feel comfortable, but enough to kind of keep the rain chances a little low today. Tons of sunshine will be in the forecast into the afternoon. Then as we head into Saturday, daytime heating, sea breeze driven storms will once again produce about a 40% chance of a couple scattered showers, both, by the way, Saturday and Sunday. Along with the rain, we're also talking about the winds. Right now, the winds picking up, gusting upwards about 28, 29 miles per hour. But look at the Cape right now for folks there in northern Brevard County. It is certainly very gusty at this point in time with our winds at tropical storm force winds, by the way. So because of that, we do have a wind advisory until 11 a.m. for that potential of those sporadic wind gusts still in the forecast. And then we will take those wind advisories off by the lunchtime hour. So as we take you here hour by hour, so you can plan out your finally Friday. Temperatures are going to be in the low 90s. It's going to be breezy, more sunshine in the forecast. And then as we head into the afternoon, though, again, the feels like temperatures are going to be back into those triple digits, feeling like 102, possibly up to 112 in Brevard County. And for that reason, Brevard remains under a heat advisory, if you can believe it. That will be in effect from between 11 and 6 o'clock this evening. But, I can't get off right now without talking about something fall related. It is our first full weekend of fall. So a lot of the fall festivals are starting. So luckily, it looks like most of the tropical concern happened during the middle of the week, which I know a lot of kids were very happy about. We're going to continue to see those rain chances still hovering pretty normal for the end of the year at about 40%. But there is a look at the tropical moisture still kind of lingering here in Central Florida. That will all continue to pull away. Some more drier air will be back in place. So it was funny because I got home yesterday during a little break in the afternoon, and my kids were just so excited that there was no school. And I said, well, don't worry. You still have to make that day up. It's just like, you don't just, that day just doesn't disappear off the agenda. Like you gotta still make it up somewhere. So
yeah,
they were a little bummed out when I popped there, no school because of a hurricane bubble.
Oh yeah, and it was a
Nothing
little bit of
Bridgett.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a debate too with if Orange County would go back and like what would happen with all of that. And so, some people have had damage or power outages and different things like that. And, I'm looking at this map on the power outages, and you can see just like right through that Panhandle, Big Bend area. There. That's where the majority, that red cluster right there is where the 100% outages are. And so, we know that the linemen are going to be working hard today to try to get people back online. But of course, it's a lot of work.
And the roadways are littered with a lot of I call it kind of the littered debris. We're not talking big time road obstructions, but still, you don't want to be just like blowing over some branches around your neighborhood. So just, be aware. Just be aware of that. It was funny because, sometimes you get caught going, back in the day when I was your age, I did that yesterday. I said, back in the day when I was your age, I didn't get a phone call from our school or a text message. I had to sit there waiting for the crawl across the screen to see if my county's name would be picked up for no school.
Yeah.
They
For
don't
us,
understand
it was
the
snow,
struggle.
though. It was snow
Oh, the
days growing
snow.
up in the
Yeah, I never had
Carolinas.
those.
So, yeah, the anticipation, though, they'll never know.
I feel
But I
like
will
snow
tell
days
you,
are more
when those
exciting.
robocalls come in and you're just like listening and listening, it's like, oh, wait, no, so we are going. Oh, we are going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we? Are we not? Did I mishear
Right,
that?
right. And it
Yeah.
basically comes down a lot of times with us, we didn't get, it wasn't a big rainmaker for us, but we just had those wind conditions that make it dicey.
Right. Yeah, we had peak wind gusts yesterday between about 55 and 60 miles per hour. I think the strongest wind gust was actually at the airport. I believe it was a 67 mile per hour wind gust. So it's certainly, like we mentioned, we were more concerned about the wind factor and the spin up factor because of that wind rather than the rainfall. I mean, our rainfall estimates when we were forecasting it and sending those updates out there, we said at best 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, and that's if we get a squall line that just kind of like sits over the same area. But we didn't really see that. But what we certainly did see was the overall sheer size of the system brought those tropical storm force winds in. They were pretty gnarly last night. When I was driving home in the evening, it got kind of rough out there. So I got to experience a little bit of it while also doing coverage.
Yes, and thank you again, you and the whole weather team, keeping us covered.
Yeah,
and
you're welcome.
So we're
What
gonna
we do.
Yeah, we're gonna make it through this weekend with more rain chances, and keep watching. So thank you, Candace, and
Welcome.
I'm gonna go and head over to Crystal, check on the roads, and just see what's going on. Crystal, we made it. We made it.
We made it. I am refueling right now.
Yes.
What a couple of days it's been for us.
Yes.
Obviously, when we're dealing with major storms throughout our area, the roads are heavily that, and it could be falling, anything of that nature. So I just want everyone to be aware as you're heading out this morning. When I left early on and it was dark outside, I saw a lot of tree branches in the roadways. There's a lot of standing water, some areas of flooding. So let's get to some of the traffic that we have going on. Exactly. So I'll give you guys some tips as well if you're about to head out the door. But starting with a crash in East Orange County, this is heading into Brevard along State Road 528, the beach line eastbound. Just before 520, there was a wreck there. No roadblocks. I did see some delays about 15-20 minutes ago, and it looks like traffic has spread out. So that leads me to believe they pushed this crash off to the side. Just watch out for any, law enforcement officials that you see out there trying to work this crash. Now, up in Lake County, there is a crash involving injuries in the Umatilla area. This is on Southeast Highway 42nd Street and Southeast 294th Court Road. This is a bit of a rural area, but I do want to remind you to move over for those emergency officials. And then back to some of these traffic reminders. We are still experiencing a lot of power outages throughout Central Florida. I just got an alert from FHP saying the lights at the intersection of West Anderson Street and I-4 in Orlando completely out. So what do you do when you approach an intersection and the traffic lights are out? You treat it like a four-way stop. That means you got to stop before the intersection. And I always tell folks to make eye contact with the driver that you see, across from you, just to, give a little nod. Okay, you can go to avoid any crashes. If your light that you are going through is flashing orange, you can proceed with means slow down. You don't have to stop. And if you have the flashing red light, you got to treat it like a stop sign. So you'll want to stop there. And also, we are seeing some areas with flooding or maybe some standing water. And I do want to remind you, there is a risk of hydroplaning. Nobody wants to get involved with that. You'll be slipping and sliding out there. So avoid using your cruise control. It only takes 1/10 of an inch of water to hydroplane. So when you're slower, your road contact remains as far as your tire in the roadway. Moderate speeds, less contact, and then the faster you go, that's a risk of hydroplaning. If you're traveling towards the downtown area, you're looking pretty good. I-75 over in the Marion County, Lake County, Sumter County area, no delays to report there. Here's a live look at I-75 near State Road 40. That's the Ocala exit. Looks like it's going to take a second here to update, but I haven't seen any delays in that direction. In your drive times, if you're trying to head towards Marion County, a 45-minute ride along the turnpike between I-4 and I-75, 18 minutes once you hop on the turnpike, on I-75 from the turnpike up to State Road 40. So again, as you're getting up and about and it's light out, just be careful, take your time. You may have to maneuver some down trees or use some extra caution.
All right, good advice. Thanks so much, Crystal. See you in a
Bye.
little bit. Bye. So we are recapping some of that damage, and our Mark Lehman has more on Helene as it made its way through Florida and really barreled through the Big Bend area. It's also being blamed for 3 deaths between Florida and Georgia. Here is Mark with the latest.
Debris was flying in the Big Bend region of Florida as Hurricane Helene made landfall late last night. The Category 4 storm bringing catastrophic 140-mile-per-hour winds.
We're going to be waking up to a state where very likely there's been additional loss of life and certainly there's going to be loss of property.
Governor DeSantis issuing a warning overnight saying the conditions in North Florida are very dangerous and damage will be widespread.
There's going to be an enormous amount of debris in various places, and you could have down power lines, you could have dangerous objects. Just be very careful when you're around the debris.
As Helene swept through, storm chasers were on the ground showing the powerful winds. And while it's too early for detailed damage reports, DeSantis says the state is ready to respond with search and rescue.
We have 3,500 National Guardsmen standing by. We have our state guards standing by. We have state troopers standing by, and they will be active if need be.
And so we'll continue seeing more footage coming in from this aftermath, of course, now that the sun is up and people are surveying the damage. So we'll keep updating you on clickorlando.com as well as News 6 at noon throughout the day with more coverage on the aftermath of Helene. And speaking of that aftermath, family in Apopka is safe this morning, but they will be cleaning up because part of their roof was torn off by the storm. Here's Treasure Roberts with more.
Neighbors got a huge shock Thursday night when strong winds literally snatched the roof off of their mobile home. The neighbors who live here say they did not expect this. They didn't think strong winds would come to Orange County, but they did. And this is what it left behind. Paneling is literally laying across the front of their home and on their lawn. It's even covering this white vehicle over here. The neighbors tell me they don't even know how damaged the car is because they can't even get to it right now. They are upset. They're devastated. Of course, this is an unexpected expense. They are, however, hoping that the insurance company can cover that. And so I did speak to one of the people who live in this home who described what they heard when the roof was being torn off.
So we were having dinner tonight, and as soon as we got done with dinner, all of a sudden you just hear this loud rumble for about 10-15 seconds, and then you just looked out front and you see the roof just coming off. And for the past 45 minutes or so, it's just progressively gotten worse.
The people who live here say they're going to get a better look at the extent of the damage once the sun comes up. They've also called their insurance company. They're hoping that they will cover this because, of course, this will be an unexpected expense. Some of the people who live nearby, their neighbors, are hoping to come by tomorrow and help them clean up this debris. It just shows how tight-knit of a community this is. We'll be thinking of this family and hoping that the weather doesn't impact them any more than it already has. In Apopka, Treasure Roberts getting results, News 6.
Really thankful no one was seriously hurt or anything there with that, but it definitely shows you just what could happen in these conditions. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with a live interview about Boys Town, Central Florida. Welcome back. We have a special guest this morning from Boys Town of Central Florida. The executive director, Lori Davis, is with us. And Lori, it's good to see you. Good morning.
Good morning, Bridget. Great to see you. And it's actually last name Stern, Lori
Stern.
Stern.
I'm so sorry the misprint here, but
No problem.
it's
That's
good to
great to
have
see you and be here.
Yes, it's good to see you too. And for folks who haven't heard of Boys Town, this is an organization that's been saving children and healing families since 1917. And you're located, well, one of your main campuses in Oviedo. Tell people more about the work you're doing here in Central Florida and abroad.
Sure, thank you. So we've been in Oviedo for almost 40 years, and we provide, a lot of folks know us because of our residential care. We provide quality residential standards for youth in foster care, but we also provide a lot of prevention services as well. We provide, one of the main things for the month of September is really the Suicide Prevention Month, and a lot of folks don't realize that we have a crisis hotline as well as Your Life, Your Voice, which is an amazing app and service that youth are able to access from all over the nation, actually.
And how does that app work? Because that's a newer concept that you have now.
It is. You can access it via the website as well, yourlifeyourvoice.org. The app is really neat, though. And this is something that we really wanted to provide easy access to youth for topics that really pertain to them. So this has topics such as suicide prevention, coping strategies, anxiety, but it also has things such as making friends. How do you make friends? How do you prevent bullying? So those topics are online and you can click on them. They have videos, they have resources, just really great things for our youth. We know our youth are struggling today. We know that social media and things are making it more difficult for our kids in today's world. So this is a really neat app for youth and parents for resources to keep them healthy.
And it is free to use.
This is a free app. What's really nice about this app, not only is it free, there's no tracking. We're not trying to track data. This is something that the Boys Town implemented to help children. That is really the premise of our founder, Father Flanagan, is to really ensure that we're helping children and keeping them safe and providing resources for families as well.
And so how does it work? How do you end up with children on your campus? I've visited the campus before. You have, several homes there on campus and places to, give them a place to temporarily live. But talk about those situations and how it comes about that they come to Boys Town.
Sure. Our kids were very excited to see you. I remember that day vividly
Yeah.
because they were excited to pose with you as well.
Yeah.
You are very famous on our campus. So our campus is comprised of 5 different family homes, and these are family style homes. So I like to say it's professional foster care. These are kids that unfortunately, by no fault of their own, they've been removed from their parents for abuse, neglect, or abandonment. And they come to our campus, and we have a set of family teachers that stay with our youth permanently. These are family teachers that live in a back apartment that they reside with up to 6 kids. We do serve boys and girls. I know it says Boys Town, but we serve girls as well. And those 5 family homes are providing normalcy for our kids every day, that they're providing just a normal experience of childhood. Our kids are being able to re-experience and redefine their childhood. They're going to school, they're participating in extracurricular activities, but also our research proven Boys Town model is being implemented every day. So this is an evidence-based program that we're ensuring that youth are receiving life skills and things that they can take with them to be better citizens, be more contributing to society, and just make themselves better than they arrived at Boys Town.
I remember meeting 2 brothers and, in the interest of privacy, but, it was just a great way for them to still be together and still have that family setting. And then, the parents who work there with the kids, instilling in them great values and work ethic. It was really inspiring.
Yeah, it's really incredible. It's incredible to see our kids. We just had a young man that returned to our office just this week, right before the hurricane, and came in and said, "I just wanted to let you know that I learned a lot from Boys Town. I'm so thankful for my experience, and I have a car, I have a house, I'm excelling, and it's because of
Yeah.
the experience of Boys Town." So we're so thankful to be able to pour into these youth that we're not sure where they would end up if they weren't at Boys Town, but we know that when they end up at Boys Town, they're going to leave better.
So how can we support Boys Town? Because there are multiple ways and you need lots of resources.
Yes, absolutely. So we have an upcoming documentary. Father Flanagan, Heart of a Servant, is going to be portrayed one day only in the movies. That's on October 8th. We would love you to learn more about the spirit of Father Flanagan and how it still is alive today. We would also love for folks to come out and take a tour. You can reach out to me, you can reach out on our website, you can request a tour, but we also have an open campus tour for our upcoming Christmas tree lighting. So this is an annual event that actually Bridgett will be at, that we're very excited to have her MC at. And we're really excited to open up our campus for folks to come. We have youth that share their testimonies. They share a little bit about their stories. We have Santa, we have fake snow, we have food trucks. It's a really great family-friendly event, and that'll be on December 15th at 4:30 at our Dimitri campus in Oviedo.
Yeah, and we did the candy cane run for so long, and so you're doing some different holiday activities now to invite the community out.
Yes, and we're super excited. This is an event for our youth on campus. It's a great time. There's a lot of stigma surrounding youth in foster care. So this is a great time for folks to come out and meet youth that are in foster care that are just like any other teenager. They have the same wants, desires. It's a phenomenal event, and it feels good, but it also prepares you for that Christmas spirit as well.
For sure. And so where can we go for more information on all of this and keep in touch?
Yes, absolutely. You can go to boystown.org/Central Florida to learn more. And then, of course, that yourlifeyourvoice.org is always a resource. And then I'd love to give our national hotline, our crisis center, which is available at staff 24/7. You can reach that number at 1-800-448-3000.
All right, Lori, it's always good to see you. I'll see you soon. And thank you all at Boys Town for everything you do to help out the community and those young girls and boys who really need us.
We thank you. Thank you, Bridgett. Take care.
All right, take care. And so that's going to do it for us on this Friday edition. I'll see you at noon on WKMG, and we'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend and stay safe.